Okay, so welcome to the next chapter in this course on international economics. Today we will be looking at an overview of the world trade, and we will look at what factors influence this trading patterns and the how the world trade is taking place. What are the factors behind that, and the reasons why it is what it is. Okay, so we'll start with gravity model. Okay, so the size of the countries, the size of the trading partners matter when it comes to trading. Okay, so there are certain data regarding trading partners of US. Okay, but the question is, why does the US trade more with these European countries than others? So whatever, whosoever are these top trading partners, why are they different from others? How are they different from others? Why are they at the top in the trading partner list with US, and why not others are? Okay, so one logic is the size of an economy is directly related to the volume of the imports and exports. Okay, so this is why the size matters. When we talk about trade, the size of an economy matters. Okay, so there is relationship between the trade volume and the size of an economy. The size of an economy has a direct influence on the volume of import and export. Larger economies produce a greater quantity and variety of goods and services. Okay, this allows them to actively participate in export market. They can offer broad range of products that appeal to the trading partners. If US is doing more trade with certain countries, then obviously they are fulfilling some conditions, they are providing something to the US. Okay, so big economies like Germany, UK and France have highly developed industries. Okay, so larger economies produce more goods, as we have seen. Why they are able to produce more? Because they have more developed industries are there. So if industry is developed, then obviously they will be able to produce more. So these industries enable them to produce high quality goods and innovative services at a scale that supports significant exports. So if they are producing more, then they have more to export. Okay, they have so much of production that they are able to fulfill their domestic needs also, and then they have some things left for export also. Okay, for instance, Germany excels in manufacturing and engineering, particularly for the automobiles and machinery. Similarly, UK has a robust financial service sector and have high-tech industries. And France is known for the luxury goods, agriculture and aerospace. Okay, so these kind of things. So they have their USPs. They have certain things in which they are specialized, and they have technology to produce more, and thus they are able to trade more. Then a larger economy, okay, not only export more, but obviously they can import more also. Why? Because there is higher level of income there. So higher level of income, and thus there is more demand also. Okay, so if consumers have more income, they can demand more of the foreign goods, thus they are importing more also. So they are exporting because they can produce more, they are importing because they have income. So this is why a larger economy can do more trade. Okay, they are not only exporting to US, but they are also demanding US products also. Then only US is benefiting from them. Okay, so we just discussed that why the size of the economy matters. Okay, so now let's come to this gravity model. The gravity model explains much about the US trade with European countries that we just talked about, but it does not always provide a perfect fit. We will just look into these things that though gravity model do give us a good picture of the trading capabilities or trading patterns, but it is not able to predict everything perfectly. So the gravity model suggests that trade volume between two countries is positively related to their economic sizes and inversely related to the distance between them. So this means that closer the economies, more the trade. Less the distance between two economies, more is the trade, and more the distance between the economies, which means more farther from each other the economies are, then the trade is less. Okay. So despite the model's accuracy with this thing, the inverse relationship with the distance and positive relationship with size. Okay, despite the model's accuracy in many cases, there are some exceptions, as I have told you, that it is never the prediction is never perfect. Okay, so there are other reasons also that impact trade beside distance. There are other reasons also. Okay, but before going into those reasons, before going into all that, let's first look at the gravity model. Okay, what it is. Okay, so here we can see this equation here. Okay, so the gravity model assumes, as I said, that size and distance are important for trade. According to gravity model, size and distance are two important factors for trade, and this is the equation. The Tij is equal to A multiplied by Yi multiplied by Yj divided by Dij. So Yj divided by Dij is the third term. Okay, so what it is? So the Ij is for the country. So the Tij is the trade between country I and country J, any two countries, I and J, any two countries, and this is the trade between them, Tij. Okay, so A is a constant. Okay, and Yi is what? It is the Yi is the output of country I. Yj is the output of country J, and Dij, which is divided by this thing, is the distance between I and J. So it is showing that this inverse relationship with distance. Okay, so A multiplied by Yi multiplied by Yj. So Yi, Yj are the output, positive, the size of economy. Okay, so these are positively related to the trade, which is Tij, and Dij, which is the distance, is inversely related to the trade. Okay, so distance between I and J is inversely related to the amount of trade that is between the economies. And then we have a more general version of this. Here we have the A, B, and C. These numbers are there, as a superscript of the output and distances, and they are something different from one. Now, again, I have told you this, that it is not a perfect model. Okay, so let's look at the other things that besides size, what other things matter. Distance is an important factor here when we talk about the factors that impact trade. Okay, now beside that, there are these other factors also. So distance is majorly for the transportation cost. Then we have cultural affinity. So the economies that have closer cultural ties, they trade more. Okay, so cultural similarities play a major role in fostering trade relationships. For example, a common language makes communication and business negotiation smoother. Okay, shared cultural practices or historical ties can lead to trust and familiarity, encouraging stronger economic interactions. Okay, geography is another thing. Geographical features significantly impact the ease of trade. Okay, like whatever is the geographical feature of that particular economy. Okay, whether it is the type of terrain, or the access to ocean and all those things. Okay, so these things impact the trade. And if for example there is absence of natural barriers like mountains, which can complicate, restrict trade. If there are no such things, then trade will flourish. Okay, so these types of factors are there when we talk about geography as a factor that impact trade between countries. Then we have multinational corporations. The presence of multinational corporations is another important factor. These global companies operate divisions across multiple countries. Frequently, they import and export goods between their various operations, creating substantial trade flows between the countries. Then we have borders and other trade barriers. Borders introduce formalities, okay, that can slow or complicate trade. If there are borders, okay, then obviously there are certain formalities that are to be taken care of when you are trading, when you are exchanging goods cross border. Okay, so custom process and paperwork is there. Different currencies may need to be exchanged, adding to more hurdles. Tariffs and other monetary costs are there, which can again reduce the ease of trade. Okay, so in summary, we can say that factors such as distance, cultural affinity, geography, multinational cooperation, and borders all play a very significant role in shaping trade patterns. And if we understand these elements, they can help us to look into the complexities that can occur when we are trading. Okay. So there are these studies, there are these estimates that give certain information about how it works. Okay, so again, estimates of the effect of distance from the gravity model predict that 1% increase in distance, okay, between the countries, if there is a 1% increase in the distance between the countries, it is associated with a decrease in volume of trade by 0.721%. Okay, again, these are certain studies that have concluded these things. Okay, and yes, again, this is not the perfect number, so this is not something that yes, only this is the case. Okay, this is not a fixed range. Okay, this again can vary. Beside distance, border increase the cost and time needed to trade, that we have already done. Then trade agreements between countries are intended to reduce the formalities and tariff needed to cross border, and therefore to increase trade. So if there are certain trade agreements, then we can say that there is certain ease in trading between the countries. Okay, now let's discuss about the changing pattern of world trade. Okay, see, gravity model is an old model. Okay, and as technology develops, the trade patterns also changes with technology. The types of goods that are being traded changes. So we can say that there are certain exceptions also to gravity model as the technology improves. So the negative effect of distance that is predicted by gravity model on trade is significant, but the impact has shrinked. The impact is now small because due to time, the modern transportation is there, modern ways of communication are there, which have kind of reduced the negative impact of distance on trade. So technologies that have increased trade, now there have been lot of developments over time, okay, that have helped in facilitating the trade. So for example, wheels, okay, compasses, railroad, telegraphs, all these things, and then trains, other types of automobiles, the satellites, or you can say fiber optics and internet, all these things, they have increased trade. E-commerce has helped to in developing the trade. And also if you look into the history tell us that political factors such as wars can change trade patterns much more than innovation in transportation and communication. So wars have a more significant, more stronger impact on trade. Okay, so if you just go into if you try to get some data on this, you will see that whenever there are wars like World War and all those things, there is a drastic drop in the trade all over the world. Okay, so these are the things that impact trade. Okay, and war has much strong negative impact than any other thing. Now, what we have seen till now is the factors that impact trade. So we started with gravity model, which says that distance is important, and distance and size are important. Okay. Then we looked into other factors. Okay, the culture and presence of MNCs and other things. And then we saw that with the modern development of technologies, with the more innovations, we saw that the negative impact of distance is reducing. It is still there, but it is reducing. Okay, and wars are a very big factor, strong, significant factor that negatively impact trade. Okay, now let's look into what are we trading. Okay, let's just look into this thing. Okay, so today most of the volume of trade is manufactured products such as automobiles, computers, and clothing. Manufacturing products are traded the most. Okay, and we can clearly observe that, we can clearly see that the technology that is being traded, the computers, iPhones, other gadgets, okay, and other manufactured product machineries. Okay, so these are traded a lot. Automobiles, cars, and these things are traded a lot. So according to this data, it is 53%, but again, maybe the number is not exact, but the idea that this manufacturing sector, or the manufactured products, have the maximum stake in what is being traded. Okay, then services such as shipping, insurance, legal fees, all these things, tourism, okay, are about 20%. Okay, then mineral products are like around 19%, and agricultural products are around 8%, the primary sector products. Okay, these are the least traded. Okay, this is according to this data, but again, numbers might be different, but the idea of the proportion, or the how much the thing is being traded is again same. Okay, now in past, if we see, a large fraction of volume trade came from the agricultural and mineral products. Okay, earlier the primary sector products were traded the most. Okay, and then we in 1910, Britain mainly imported agricultural and mineral products. Okay, although manufactured products still represent most of the volume of export. Okay, but agricultural product had a higher chunk in the total pie of this trading. Okay, then according to this data again, in 2002, manufactured product made up most of volume of imports and export for both the countries. Okay, low and middle income countries have also changed the composition of their trade. In 1960, about 58% of export from low and middle countries were agricultural product. Okay, in 2001, about 65% of export from low and middle countries were manufactured products. Okay, so even the composition within the low and middle income countries is changing. Earlier they were also mostly exporting primary products, but now they are also mostly exporting the manufactured products. Okay, so these are some data. Okay, again, this data is obviously ever changing. Okay, this is obviously old data, but the idea that I wanted to give is that how the pattern is changing, from primary, how you are shifting towards the manufacturing or manufactured goods, or when you are trading. Okay, so this is a small graph again showing the same thing, that how manufacture export is rising and how agricultural export is declining. Okay, again, some online data numbers, again, it's still 2001, so obviously it's very old data. Okay, but still the idea remains the same. Okay, so this was the second chapter in this course, and we just took an overview of the world trade, factors impacting the trade, and the composition of the trade. Okay, now in the next chapter we will be looking into the comparative advantage and the Ricardian model, and it is going to be a multi video chapter. Okay, because in single video it is going to be very long. So do subscribe to stay tuned with the latest updates. Okay, Thank you.